Good evening, world. Man, it's been a lot on my mind lately. A lot of things I've been going through, experiencing in life. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. I've been losing a lot of people, actually. And when I say losing a lot of people, I don't necessarily mean to death or anything, but death of a friendship, death of a relationship in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And I'm not gonna lie, some of it has hurt worse than some deaths I've had in my life. And it's just, I really don't know how to voice those feelings accurately about some of the losses I've suffered recently. I've lost some people I would consider close friends, closest family, partners in crime, people I never thought that this would happen to, but life happens. But one of the things that, especially from my background, like losing all these people and like going through some of the things I've been going through, is they tell you so I grew up, my dad was a preacher and he was a pastor for a little minute, couple of years or so. My brother being a preacher, my grandfather was a preacher. So I have a very strong history in the church. I used to usher, sing the choir, do the regular things that, everyone really does at the church at one point in time. But with that being said, they always tell you turn to God, turn to the people like you. So in this sense, Christians, these are the people we're supposed to lean on when you're going through tough times like this. And one thing I've noticed as of recently is when I say notice, this is I guess I've always kind of seen it. I just never truly understood for what it is. And honestly, even now, I still don't understand. But what I'm talking about is that the idea of what a Christian should be, how they're supposed to interact with the world, how they're supposed to be as a Christian, I'll say, as the standard of a Christian, they're not fitting that idea, the symbolism of what a Christian is, I guess. And by no way, shape, form, or fashion is any person perfect. No one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has, moments. I understand that. I completely, fully understand that. But what I've been struggling with is sometimes it's hard to call myself a Christian, because when I think about Christians these days, I think about people that judge all the time. And I don't see how that is godly or Christian-like, because somewhere in the Bible, I am not a Bible scholar or a theologian, which is the correct term for it, or anything like that, but there's somewhere in their Bible, the good book that says, only God can judge. You see people with tattoos upon themselves, only God can judge me. And there are a few things in the Bible that are kind of up for interpretation. But the statement, only God can judge me, doesn't seem like there's much interpretation to that passage. If the word only, which means soul, only one person, solely one person, and that person being God, then who are we as a people, we as Christians, you, me, anybody, able to judge the next person? That just doesn't make any sense to me. It does. As I've gotten older, I've realized first of all, I'm not in a place to judge anybody, because I have my own dirt. I have my own issues that I go through, my own crises, my own things sometimes that challenge my moral compass. Me knowing I have to go through these things, me knowing that I experience these things, I know that I can't judge the next person. It wouldn't make any sense for me to judge the next person, And I just don't understand why, when I ask my people, when I say my people, I say friends, people my age, who some are in church, some don't go to church, some who sometimes go to church. You know, when I ask, like, okay, well, do you feel like you should be able to judge somebody? They're like, no, only God can judge, or no one should be able to judge me because I'm me and they're not me, which I agreed to that. You know, I was having a conversation with my dad, I think it was last week sometime, and I had to quote one of my favorite J. Cole, lines. He says, I'm not saying you a hoe, you just made a whole decision. And when I think of that, I think about, that's not judgment upon you, that's judgment upon an action. An action is fleeting unless it's something habitual, but an action is normally for a moment in time, not a perpetual moment either. It's just a small, fast moment in time about you. So being the action. And I don't think it's wrong to necessarily judge a moment, to judge an action, but to judge a person based off their actions, I think is wrong. I personally feel like judging a person based off their actions, no matter how good or bad they may be to you, is wrong, because everything is based off perception. Oh, there goes a cardinal. Just to go back to what J. Cole said, I'm not saying you're a hoe, you just made a whole decision. Other words, I'm not calling you a liar, you just lied in this moment in time. You know, you're not a thief, but you did steal. You know, those are judgments based on actions. And I don't think those are necessarily wrong to have. But I would love to hear from people in the comments, people in my messages. How do you feel about the judgment of others? Do you feel it's okay to judge on actions? Do you feel like it's okay to judge on characteristics about somebody? Do you think we have the power to judge? Do we not have the power to judge? I'm interested. I'm intrigued to know what you guys will think. I hope to hear from you soon. Again, this is What Not to Say, and I appreciate all the views, the watchers, and my subscribers.